Good evening, Dharma friends. Let me wish you the noble of the blessings of the noble triple gem for happy and peaceful Sutta studies. Today is the last day of August 2024. It is Saturday, so we can begin this evening Sutta studies with hopes and expectations to be in the Dharma training with strong mind. Wishing everyone happiness and peace. We begin the Sutta studies for that purpose, and that should be one of the things for us to be happy. The Buddha has asked us to be happy and peaceful because happiness is a quality of enlightenment, and the peace is also the nature of enlightenment. If you look at the seven factors of enlightenment, Piti Bojjanga, Passadi Bojjanga, they are talking about spiritual happiness. So it is always beneficial for us to be happy with the work we do in the training. So with that in mind, let's begin today's Sutta studies. May this effort in studying Dhamma help you cope with negative emotion if there is any, and cultivate kusala for the betterment. And finally, may you attain a final emancipation, what we call nirvana, by the power of these merits. With that in mind, let's pay our due respect to the Supreme Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I pay my homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dhamma friends, we are going to study a new discourse today in the Sutta study class. It is called Attiraga Sutta. This Sutta was discussed in December 2023. Therefore, it is not a new discourse, but it's a long time ago. So it is better for us to discuss this Sutta again for our understanding, and the Dharma the Buddha discussed here should be absorbed in a beautiful way so that we can strengthen our practice to cultivate the noble qualities. Attiraga Sutta is recorded in Samyutta Nikaya. If I mention the real location of the sutta, you may somehow find it in the internet too. It's Samyutta Nikaya section number 12. It's called Nidana Samyutta. Nidana Samyutta, yes. Samyutta Nikaya has been categorized into five main sections. Such as Sagata Vaggapali, Nidana Vaggapali, Kanda Vaggapali, Salayatana Vaggapali, and Mahavaggapali. This sutta is located in the second main category, Nidana Vaggapali. Nidana Vaggapali is also categorized into 10, and the first one is Nidana Samyutta. The sutta number is 64 of the Nidana Samyutta. This sutta is 64. So perhaps you cannot remember these categorization because it's too complicated. Anyway, that is the sutta, and this is the section that the sutta comes from. Attiraga Sutta. By the title of the sutta, it says Attiraga. Raga is passion. Raga is called craving. Raga could also be called desire. So Atti means there is craving, there is delight, there is passion. So that's what it means. The English translation is called there is lust. That's this direct translation of Attiraga. It is said in the discourse that the sutta is delivered by the Buddha when he was residing at the Savatthi Jetavanas monastery. I would also refer to Pali here because Pali is necessary to understand certain terms. So let me read the Pali phrase first, then go to explanation. I don't do it for the whole sutta, but time to time I will do that. Chattaro me bhikkhave ahara bhutanang va sattanang titiya sambhavesinang va anuggahaya. It means monks. Uh, it means monks, because there are these four kinds of food for the maintenance of beings that are already born or for the support of being to be born. There are four kinds of food uh, for the maintenance of beings who are already born, and also those who are about to reborn. These four food are necessary. What are the four food that the Buddha talks about? Kabalinkaro, sorry, Kabalinkaro aharo olarikoa sukumo. First one is food, edible food, gross and subtle. The second one is called passo dutio, contact as our impression, sense impression, contact or sense impression. And the third one is called Mano Sanchetana Tatiya. Mano Sanchetana Tatiya, mental volition, Chetana. And the last one is Vinyana. It's called Vinyanam Chatutang. It's consciousness. These are the four food that all living beings need. Even for someone to be reborn, they are looking for this. Actually, without these four, we cannot pinpoint a being. So all living beings means the beings who have these four. Without these four, we cannot pinpoint a being. So what are the four food again? What are the four food again? Second, the edible food, subtle and gross, and the contact sense impression, and mental volition, manosanchetana, and consciousness is the vijnana, the fourth one. Because these are the four kinds of food for the maintenance of beings that are already born or for the support of being to be born. Let me read the sutta for your attentive listening. Later on we can discuss. Because if there is lust, delight, craving for edible food, consciousness is established therein and grow. If there is lust, delight, and craving, if there is delight, lust, and craving for these food that we eat, that we chew and eat, consciousness, particular consciousness is established therein and grow. Listen to these words carefully. If there is craving, lust, or delight for food, that consciousness with lust and delight is established in us and is continue to grow. Continue to grow. Where consciousness is established and grows, there is the descent of name and form, nama rupa. When there is consciousness, when there is that particular rebirth consciousness with delight or lust or craving, that is going to make another thing, that is descent of name and form. Nama rupa is going to appear. When there is the growth of, when there is the descent of name and form, there is the growth of formation. Sankara is going to increase. Sankara is going to get start. There is the growth of formation. Then when there is the growth of formation, there is further rebirth. There are going to be the rebirth. When there is the further rebirth, there are further birth, decay, and death. When there are further birth, decay, and death, because I say that it is accompanied by sorrow, by anguish, by despair. So when we go to the Pali version of the sutta, it says like this. Kabalikare che bhikkave ahare attirago attinandi atte tanha. So when you have delight, when you have lust, when you have craving for food that you eat, patititang tatta vinyanang, there you establish vinyana. Vinyana established there, tatta vinyanang virulang, that vinyana is going to grow. Yatta patititang vinyanang virulang, that vinyana which established and start to grow is going to make the provision for Nama Rupa to arise. Nama Rupa, mind and matter, if we translate in a simple term. Then Yatta Attitatta Namarupa Savakkanti, their Namarupa is going to come. Yatta Atti Namarupa Savakkanti, when Namarupa, mind and matter come into existence, Attitatta Sankaranang Utti, their Sankara rises. So Yatta Atti Sankaranang Utti, when there is Sankara or the growth of Sankara is there, Attitatta Ayating Punabhava Nibbanti, there you have the rebirth. Then when there is rebirth, what we have is Jati Jara Vyadi Marana. When there is Jati Jara Vyadi Marana, Soka Parideva Upayasa, these are the results of Jati Jara Vyadi Marana. I think it's not that difficult to see the sequence of suffering here. Suffering started with the craving, lust, and delight for food. So that is what we really understand here. The desire and the delight and the lust started with for the food. There you have established vinyana for that particular person. When there is vinyana, there is that namarupa. When there is namarupa, the sankara is going to grow. And what kind of sankara is this? Whatever sankara could create the connection for the process. With the sankara in process, we have punabhava, and then when there is punabhava, as you know from Patisampada, Jati Jara Vyadi Maran is there, and then with that we definitely become sorrowful and lamentation and all kinds of suffering is there. So the sutta continues to say this. This is about the food we eat, and the similar pattern is going for other three types of food. Because if there is lust and delight and craving for the food, that is contact, sense impression, in other words. Consciousness is established therein and grow. When consciousness is established and grow, there is the descent of name and form. And there is the descent of name and form, there is the growth of formation. Where there is the growth of formation, there is further rebirth. When there is further rebirth, there are the birth, decay, and death. Where there are further rebirth, decay, and death, because I say that it is accompanied by sorrow, by anguish, and by dismay. Likewise, you find the same formula or some pattern for food, volition as the food, and also consciousness as the food. So if you have delight, if you have lust, if you have craving for audible food, then contact, then volition, and then consciousness, they are all called food, four types of food. Then you let the process continue, starting because of the delight. Your consciousness is going to be muddled. Your consciousness is going to be mixed with delight, mixed with craving, mixed with tanha. So the sankara is built. When namarupa is built, with namarupa sankara is built. And sankara when Sankara continues to grow, as a result, you are going to have another birth which has, aging, sicknesses, and death. Therefore, the suffering part, dukkha, is always there for us. So, from various angles, we can see that dukkha is because of delightness, because of craving, because of lust for these four kinds of food. The Buddha has given a simile to understand the deep meaning of the Dharma here. Suppose a painter or an artist using dye, various colors, would create the figure of a man or a woman, replete with all its limbs and features on a well polished panel, wall or wall of canvas. Basically, yeah, the Buddha is talking about the painter. So he has enough colors, and now he is making a picture of a man or a woman on the wall or a panel or anything similar to that. Even so, because if there is lust, delight, and craving for food, consciousness established therein and grow. Uh, Likewise, if you have delight for contact, chetana and manosanchetana, and also vijnana, with lust and craving, and your consciousness, your particular way of thinking, that's is going to be likewise. It's going to establish in the training, in the entire teaching. The Buddha's message for us uh, is not to create a consciousness with create problems. The Buddha's intention in the Dhamma is to stuff that type of consciousness, vijnana, which make the process going on. So Buddha's intention was to stop that. But when you have delight, when you have lust, when you have craving for any type of food mentioned here, you make the process otherwise. You make the process ongoing. The Buddha's teaching is to stop it. So Buddha gave here a simile. When you are going to make a drawing in a piece of clothes or a wall with different colors, you can make it because you have that you have the enough condition for it. You have colors, you have the wall or the canvas or whatever paper you have. So you are going to make a picture of it. Likewise, so you make the drawing in your mind. So you have delight, you have lust in your mind, so that you are going to have, you are going to like the food, like different type of food. So then, like the painter is making the painting, you paint your sansara, you make your sansara ongoing. So, having said this, Buddha is talking about not having food, not feeding one's consciousness. How earlier we discussed how do we make our consciousness going from this moment to next moment with delight, with lust, with craving. Now, in the second part of the discourse, Buddha talks about how not this consciousness go forward with delight and so forth. There you start with when there is no lust, no delight, no craving for edible food, consciousness is not established there and not grow. When consciousness is not established and grows not, there is no descent of name and form. When there is no descent of name and form, there is no growth of formation. When there is no growth of formation, there is no further rebirth. When there is no further rebirth, there are no further birth, decay, and death. When there are no further birth, decay, and death, because I say one is without sorrow, without anguish, without despair. So it is very clear that the reverse process start with no lust, no delight, no craving. So this is actually talking about the Four Noble Truth. In other words, in the Four Noble Truth, we have the Noble Truth of suffering, the Noble Truth of arising of suffering. So how the suffering exists? Because of the causes for suffering. Likewise here, so if you have delight, lust, and craving for type of food, so that's the reason for suffering. At the end of each section, the person who has delight, lust, and craving for any type of food creates suffering. So that represent the first noble truth and the second noble. And if you want to stop this process, what you need to do is to no is to create no craving, lust, and delight for any type of food. Then the whole process is going to nil. Whole process is going to no craving, no sankara, no vinyana established, no sankara create and grow, and then no nam rupa, no any other things happen right after, because from the very beginning of the process you put no delight, no lust, no craving. So that represent the third and the fourth noble truth. When you practice the fourth noble truth, which is the noble eightfold path, you can achieve the third noble truth also. So that this is nothing but explaining the four noble truth in a different angle. um, so further, before going to the discourse further, I would discuss the four kinds of food further. That is something that many people do not understand. Perhaps you do. Anyhow, let me explain a little bit about the four types of food. Um, Kabalikahar, the food that we take from our mouth or inject, any type of material food is called Kabalikahara. The very word explained, you consume it by breaking into pieces inside your mouth or outside, whatever. So anyhow, you chew it and you put it into your mouth. So that is called Kabalikahara. And don't we desire for this? Don't we have delight for this? If you look at the entire human race, population in the world, yes, people fight each other for finding food. Uh, Almost all the major conflicts happen in the world, in the past, in today's world, because of food. If you analyze, you can see that the food for maintenance or survival is a key thing of human life. Even in animals, look at animals; they always look for food. They kill each other because of food. So everything is decided by the food. So craving and delight uh, is the matter for this. And a lot of people say that they can understand that there is craving and delight and lust for material food. So, but the hardest part for many people is to understand the significance of passa, manosanchetanaha, passahara, manosanchetanaha, and vijnanahara. Why? How could we define? How could we understand the significance of this pact? Friends, I would take this kabalikahar, or the food we eat, for example. Um, Suppose you have a plate of rice with different curries, and you are going to get it and eat it. So in the first sight, you see them not looks good. By color, you judge it is, well, it is not good. So the color is not uh, up to the stand. So then you don't like it. When you eat it, no taste at all, neither salt, no any other taste is coming from it, so that you don't like. So then you throw away. You say that I don't need it. I don't want this to happen at all. So you make a case out of it. So if you take this example, yes. So it's a plate of rice with different curries, and when you have a lot of craving, and you have craving, delight for it, what you do is you eat it and you like it, and of course you create passion for it, and then technically, spiritually, your mind has created craving, attachment, which cause you suffering later on, definitely. Then I want to show you how Hasahara, Manosanchetana and Vijnana also were there when you like the Kabalikahar. So with regard to contact means sensory impression, or how do you use your senses. So basically, if the color of the food is not good, you don't like. Basically, if the taste of the food there is not good, you don't taste it, you don't take it very much. Then what Mano Sanchetana, your mind is not, your Chetana, your mind is not working as it is, because whatever the food you are having now on the table is not whatever what you wish for. So your consciousness is not happy. Your conscious, basically you see the food from your eyes and smell the food from your nose, and taste is also through tongue. So basically, and the food is so uh, hot. Then from each sense you don't get what you want. So that vijnanahara is not coming to you, manosanchetana is not coming to you, and pasahara is not is not something you like. So basically, there what you have is anger built in you, uh, aggression, irritation is going to be the result. So if pasahara and manosanchetana and vijnanahara are there with the food as you wish, you are going to like the food. If if your fasahara, manosanchetana and vijnana are not satisfied, the food is not something you wish, and you may not be able to eat it. So I show you that if manosanchetana, pasahara and vijnana are not met, not met there, you are going to be unhappy, you are going to be angry. Suppose if the color of the food is nice, smell is good, and the taste is good, it's not hot, it's up to your uh, up to what you already created in your mind. So your manosanchetana, pasahara and vijnana, they are always there. So so now you can see that how these things come together, right? Give me a second. This is how we need to understand. This is how we need to understand things better with regard to four kinds of food. Give me a second. So, therefore, these four types of food, understanding four types of food is really important with regard to understanding the whole process of suffering and the eliminating of suffering. Buddha talks about various important things with these four kinds of food, right? So the food we eat, Kabalikahara, represent all kinds of food we eat. From this corner of the world to the other corner, whatever name you have food, they are all included into it. Even drinking, anything you take through pills, vitamins, ions, they are all included into it. And pasar, anything. Why do we put ahar for this? It's the the implication of ahara is pachaya, which means depending on. Then contact with regard to all senses. So we all know that what contact is passa, when sense gets particular sensory objects, consciousness arises, and meeting of the three is called contact. So it is a very important thing for all living beings, right? So for those who have ended suffering, do not need anything, any wish for any food, any type of food. But those who have not done that particular part of the training yet, they are looking for these four type of food always. Basically, we can sometime we can live without the first type of food at least for several hours, but we cannot live without the second, third, and fourth ahar. They are very important. Vijnana is a inbuilt activity in our process, and contact is also inbuilt, and mano sanchetana, they are inbuilt in our mind, so that we know from various dharma sources and also experience that these four type of food are really important, and delight, lust, craving makes the change for us. If we understand that this is the way mind works, this is the way the suffering arises, though there you have that potential energy to end the delight and the lust and craving for it. So that is what I wanted to share. I know that this is a interesting discussion. So having said this, that if there is no delight, no lust, no craving for any type of food, Buddha said that no process is going to give the doer of the activity suffering, because you have stopped craving, you have stopped delight, you have stopped the process for for many things. So parable of the painter is taken again by the Buddha to show how the process is not taken. Suppose because a painter, there is a painter, right? And he uses different colors to draw a picture of a man or a woman, either on the wall or a panel or canvas. When yeah, that simile is given for given for showing the suffering arises. The simile of the house and sunbeam is very important one. Let me read this to you. This is for full reflection. Okay, suppose because there were a pinnacle house, Kutagara. We call this in Pali Kutagara. The roof is you know uh, in a shape, the shape into like the church, and it's very high, and that's the pinnacle house or pinnacle hall, Kutagar Sala, with windows on the north, northern, and the southern, and the roof is well made, and it's so high, and there are windows of the house. When the sun rises and a beam of light enters through a window, where would it settle? This is a very simple example. So you open, it's a very sunny day, and you open the windows, and where this sun rays, ended up through the windows. Then Bhikkhu answer, if there were no western wall, where it would settle. Suppose the sun rises from the east, and when sun rays come in from the east side of the window, the when the sun rays goes until the west wall. Other side of the wall, you can see the sunlight, sun rays. What if there is no earth? What if there is no wall over there? Then it could fall into the earth or the ground. And if there is no ground there, then what happened? It could be water. No, if there is no water, what it could be? Then we cannot see the sunlight putting, falling into anything. Likewise, bhikkhus, even so, bhikkhus, if there is no lust, no delight, no craving for any type of food, there is no established consciousness there. When there is no established consciousness there, no growth of sankara, no rising of sankara and no growth of sankara. When there is no sankara, no nama rupa is there. No nama, which means no, you don't have rebirth, and when there is no rebirth, no aging, no sicknesses, no death, and when there is no death, no sorrow, no lamentation, how could somebody experience suffering? So you see how beautiful the Buddha put the point into application. If no delight, no craving, no lust is there, the problem is solved. So the problem is lust, problem is delight. Nandi, Raga, and Tanha, these are some of the words for one thing, that is glowing nature. It could also be Padana. If there is no Padana, if there is no ignorance, how could there be suffering? So from various angles, the point is clear that the raga, atti raga by the title, if the raga is making the process going on. This is a very similarly a very short discourse, but if the since the sutta has taken the subject of war food, it's important. So if you go to similar sources, you can find the same thing elsewhere in the Tripitaka. Even in this section, you have different sources that the Buddha talks about the 4 kinds of food. So remember, I suggest you to keep the 4 kinds of food in mind, and let your mind think on each food or separately and together over and over, so that you can understand the connection between and among the 4 kinds of food. So you see, the first one is material, others are immaterial, which means mental. So if you take care of the second one and the third one and fourth one based on Dhamma, you have done the duty. You have done the duty, because you are taking, you are understanding what is Phassa, what is Mano Sanchetana, what is Vijnana. There you definitely have discipline to stop craving on Kabalinkahara, any food we eat. So this is a major topic in the training, because if you remember Bhojane Mattanyuta, that is one thing that bhikkhus and bhikkhunis should learn. If you do not discipline your mind on taste, on food, you are not going to make any difference in the training. So you should let go of desire for food. You should let go of desire for taste, different type of feeling. So there you have the chance of you have the chance of ending craving for contact, craving for different ideas and different consciousness. So therefore this sutta, this fact of 4 kinds of ahara is important discussion in the training. So since this discourse is too short, I do not go on factors of the discourse further. Better for us to have a discussion. Yes, I see Dr. Pial.
Sadhu Bhante, thank you. Excellent sutta. So this about the nutriments, it comes in different, as you said, different other sutta texts. I think I remember as one of right view on Venerable Sariputta talks about as a right view, arriving at right view, understanding the four nutriments.
Yes, nutriments.
Yeah. So the nutriments, now when you talk about, let's say, for if you see some food, right, the nutriments are all nutriments are working uh, very quickly. I mean, before even we taste, right, when you see it, right, that is eye consciousness food is there now. Eye contact food is there, and you see the food, you taste it, I guess. And then the thinking about his thoughts, the mano sanchitanahara there, oh, it's tasty, it's really good. So you think about it, and now where this is where the craving arises. So what you feel, you perceive, what you perceive, you think about, right? So the thinking about is mano sanchetanahara, and when the more you think, more start to cling with craving. Now there is craving, and then with the craving you cling to the idea, oh, this is really good, I want to get some more. So you're
Yeah.
clinging, right? So so the craving is, could be, my question is, the craving is also part of mano sanchetanahara, because it's a thought, it's an activity of the mind thinking about it, right? It's a craving, but initially there may not be craving. Contact, all those is like a process which happens very fast at the background, we can't even fathom it. But the craving is something you can control, let go of the second noble truth. So this is Buddha is talking about, this is something you can work on, following the noble eightfold path of this, the craving, the desire, atiraga. Because as you see, you think about more abhinandati, abhivadati, ajo sayati, nandi raga. So that's how the little by little it starts to develop, right?
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yes, craving is mano sanchetana, because chetana, mano sanchetana, what do you call, volition, right?
Mm,
So you crave for something by knowing that you are craving, right?
mm, mm,
That you crave for. For
mm,
example, we see some flowers and we like it, and we know that we like it.
mm,
So it's ahara. It's
mm,
something, these four ahara, the delightness and craving and lust for these four type of ahara for somebody who is looking for living, looking for bhava.
mm.
So that it is required. As you said, craving is ahara itself. Craving is manosanchetana ahara itself. So because you are looking for it, so you think about it, you want it, you ponder on it. Abhinandati, abhivadati, ajyotasi. They are not something given by somebody to you.
Yeah.
You yourself create it in your mind. Abhinandati. You like it very much. Delightness is there, passion is there. Abhivadati. So that delightness for particular ahara or whatever is being uttered to over and over. You express your feeling from your words. Abhivadati. Ajjosayatiti. When you do the first and the second one, you are grounded there. You have jumped into the point and you grab it, you attach to it, you cling to it, so that we can see clearly from various such point that craving has also been mano sanchetana, whatever you created, whatever you thought about.
Yeah. So Sankalpa Raga Purisasa Kamo, Nate Kamayani Chitrani Loke. That's a beautiful stanza. So this is your Sankalpa Rago. So
Yeah,
Purisasa Kamo. So this is the lust or craving is something you create within, as you said, and it's nothing to do with the food out there. Food will be beautiful, tasty, whatever. It's not the food's fault. It's nothing. The craving is not in the food. It is what you
yeah,
create. Sankalpa rago prisasakama. It's amazing how put that. If the already craving is already in the food, it is not already attached, like the black cow and the white cow. If they're
yeah,
already attached, there's nothing you can do. You can't get rid of suffering, like at the end. But here, fortunately, it's something you create within, so that
yes,
you can get rid of.
yeah. From the Nibbediga Sutta, where the Buddha talks about karma, that stanza is uttered, Sankaparago Purisasa Kamo. So, yes, the problem is not those pictures outside, sound. come from different places and different things and taste of food, whatever outside is innocent. It is your mind create those sankalpa or concept, and you attach to it. So it's your mind does that, right? So craving is nothing but whatever you create in the mind to attach to something. Sankaparago purisasa kamo. Kama is nothing but the what creation in mind to hold on to, so that nate kamani chitran loke. So the calm is not those pictures, those sounds, those tastes, those things outside or attached to senses. It is, the rope to bind things together is coming from whatever you already created. So we can see how asava is also built in there. Asava is something you coming from in to get something out, and so that the craving is an asava, kama asava, right? So you bound certain things from your mind to something outside coming from. It's a very simple thing, but the way the Buddha says is really beautiful. I'm not saying that doing it simple, but
Yeah,
understanding is not that difficult.
concept. Yeah. The other question I have is about now you said about the second metaphor about the house.
Yeah,
Now
house.
this is also I guess related to what's he described, the special type of vinyana, like anidasana vinyana, the consciousness without a base. So
Yeah.
our consciousness without the surface. These are surfaces the consciousness is reflected upon. So if you kind of link a sutra to this, is I think it is the plant which kind of grows, that is Bija Sutra.
Yeah, Bija Sutra, yes.
So it can the consciousness grows depending on the four, but the craving is the water you put to the for the seed to grow, right?
Yeah.
So the substrate is rupa, vedana, sanya, sankara. So the one wall, the first wall is taken off. Rupa, none of those things are there. It cannot, consciousness cannot reflect alone. So, for
Yeah.
example, you're thinking about, you're conscious about food, or you're conscious about a feeling, you're conscious about a thought. You can't just say you're conscious. You're about some. It's related to the four other aggregates. So
Yeah.
right, you're conscious about something, a thought or a feeling. So aware, you're cognizing. Okay, I'm thinking. This is this. So without those four, the consciousness cannot survive. And also, when the water is taken out, the plant cannot grow any further. So this consciousness is the consciousness of it's like chitta, like is awareness of an arahat, but it's not connected to the aggregates. I think it's called anidasana vinyana. It's a special form of consciousness which they cannot fall on anything, right? So without the surface, some people call it a surface. Does it has it come across in your readings and discussions, Bante? The
Yeah.
anidasana vinyana.
Yeah. So that's very true. I know with the simile of the sunlight and sun rays going through window and where it is landed. So that shows how Vijnana is not going to established. So if sun rays, if there is nothing behind the window, the sun rays are not going to land it anywhere. If you take the flashlight or torch and put it into the sky, you don't see the end of it, which mean because there is no wall or there is no end, there is no anything to disturb the light. So likewise, if vinyana is not established on any surface, which means according to yatta pocha patavi tejo vayo nagadati. So if there is no rebirth consciousness, there is no Pataviyapo Tejo Vayu rises mixed with Vijnana. So Vijnana is descending and landing on a surface. Surface means Pataviyapo Tejo Vayu, that substance. So if Vijnana is not that, if Vijnana doesn't have that particular linking power, it's called Anidasana Vijnana. So you don't need to be a dead arhant to do that. Even the living arhants, their consciousness is not going to land on anything, because the seed of craving and ignorance is gone from the conscious mind. So that your vinyan is called anidachana. In other words, the vinyan of the arhants is not sticking into anything. It's not going to land on any surface. Pataviyapo tejo vayo, because of ending the craving, ending the ignorance. So yeah, it is a good connection. When you look at the simile, it shows it shows that vinyan is not going to establish. Of course, if you look at the first simile, uh, when there is lust, when there is craving, when there is delight for any type of food, Vijnana is going to establish. That it's called rebirth consciousness. And the rebirth consciousness makes the Namarupa active. And when Namarupa is active, Sankara is built. When Sankara is there, you have Jati, Jara, Vyadi, Maran, and Sukha, Paridev, and everything is there. So if Vijnana is not landed somewhere with anything in it, what you have is Anidasana Vijnana. That consciousness is not presented at all, is not landed at anywhere to any birth.
So
So
this rebirth consciousness you're talking about is not the consciousness of the five senses. It's a consciousness about the mind, like mind consciousness. Because the other consciousness, like when you see something in the eye consciousness, that is not rebirth. That's a like a simple form of a basic consciousness. But everything is eventually arrives at the mind. Manasa then aramunu, that mano sanchetana, like it becomes it's the mind conscious that becomes rebirth consciousness at the end, right? Not the other conscious.
That's true. That's true. You make the point correct. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, and other consciousness attached to five senses is not talked about here. When we talk about rebirth consciousness, that consciousness is definitely mind consciousness, which has the potential of seeing, hearing, tasting, and so on. Because if that is landed in a new place, in a new substance, then that as soon as it's landed, uh, then the possibility of eyes, possibility of seeing, possibility of hearing, tasting, smelling, touching is started to grow. So yes, as you said.
So for the vinyana, so that's namarupa connection, right? Namarupa plus vinyana. It's without vinyana, namarupa cannot go further, because remember, I think there's another sutta, Mahatana Sankhya Sutra, I think talks about how it grows, like it's continue to grow if there is craving and delight, and if there is once cut off, like the child, maybe the birth does not happen. If the consciousness decide to get out, and Namarupa cannot develop any further, right? Yeah, something like that. Anyway, never mind. I'll let others.
Yes, thank you for your contribution. I really appreciate that. Yes, when so this is a big topic in the training at in each era, as it is a very deep topic. So people have to talk a lot about it. And even though we have read all the suttas about consciousness and how consciousness is started and where it is started, still we have to talk over and over, because we tend to forget. We tend to, leave things from our mind. So that it is a big topic among scholars, it is a big topic among practitioners. And I think there is a part that even beginners could understand about it, because it talks about your feeling about something, your feeling about this and that. So we can grasp the point of this particular dharma from simple terms too. But when you but the deep part of it is understood when you practice the dharma, when you really get into real mind training, because you are looking at your own mind when you do the training. So there you see how this particular thing is grabbed by the mind, and how it goes on, and where to stop and what to stop. So you see all these little things uh, as one thing and as a whole, so that mental training teaches you, in the mental training in the name of bhavana teaches you how you do in these particular deep topics. I can see Sister Chandrani, man, you raise a hand. Please unmute and talk.
Okay, Venerable Sir. Now, in this sutta, what I see is that the nutriments are taken to show how our journey in the samsara is activated and how it goes on and on and on and on. And then they explain that when we there is another way that we can uh, pay attention, that's the Eightfold Path, using the Eightfold Path, how we can turn completely. And it's a very nice practical way of looking at the four nutriments. That's the point I want to mention.
True. Yes, what you say it's true. Here, the Buddha pointed out the four ahara as the source for living beings to continue in samsara. It depends on how you think about the four nutriments. If you think four nutriments are the cause for suffering, you are not going to create craving for it. You stop craving for it, because you see you see suffering arises due to the craving for type of food. So that you're going to slowly stop it, because at once you cannot do it. Since you are a Shravaka, you are not going to make it. Even Venerable Sariputta got the advice from the Buddha, first Venerable Asoji, and then the Buddha, to do that. So first you understand the point, then you slowly make the training in your mind to do that. So yes,
and it
this is a very
whenever say, and it goes to like sensual restraining the senses, and it shows a particular way of doing it.
Yeah, as Samadhita Sutta says, when Venerable Sariputta explained the Samadhiti, it's one of the ways is like this: Aharancha pajanati, Ahara samudayancha pajanati, Ahara nirodhancha pajanati, Ahara nirodhagamini patipadancha pajanati.
Exactly.
So knowing the four type of nutriments is Samadhiti.
Yeah.
Then if you understand the rising of four type of nutriments as they are, it is also Samadhiti. And if you know how to seize the four type of nutriments and craving for it, that's also Samadhiti. And the path for ending of craving for four type of food is nirodha magga satya, which means you practice the noble eightfold path. So from this point we know that how important this for these four in the training. So you are not only directly attacking the desire. You, when you do this attack to craving, you discipline your senses, you practice sila, you practice other things. So whole process is being taken into one and do things. So this is one of the ways samadhi should be arised by the
One sadhana.
yeah. All right, so for further understanding, I would suggest you read the Sutta and reflect on it, because the amount of knowledge you could transfer by reading, by discussion, is limited. So the better and the bigger part uh, should be done alone, with because you are not you have no zero knowledge. You have lot of knowledge. You have experience in the Dharma, so that the way to get the Dharma from this kind of deep teachings depends on how you analyze it and which way you analyze it. I suggest you to reflect it over and over and connect it to the other discourses, other Dhamma elements, and most importantly, practicing Dhamma individually alone is key for understanding difficult Dhamma. Earlier, you find they are difficult, but with practice, you find them easy. So that's how it goes. So that's all I want to say today. We have spent 1 hour, exactly 1 hour for this sutta. I think since the sutta is relatively short, but the Dhamma factors are enough discussed. Enough, I would end today's discussion from at this point. Understand the four nutriments, the and stop delightness, stop craving, stop lust for it, so that you are in the safe land, what we call nirvana, or the magga for nirvana. And I wish may you be able to achieve that goal very soon. With that in mind, sadhu,
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 sadhu, sadhu.
sadhu.